Hello everyone! After I made the video about realistic military RTS games, some people said those games still felt a bit arcade. That's fair since the list was focused on RTS. So today I'm going a step further and looking at some truly realistic military simulation games. Let's get into it. Close Combat Cross of Iron is a remake of the classic Close Combat 3, The Russian Front, and many fans still consider it one of the best in the series. The campaign system is especially memorable. When you win, you push deeper into enemy territory, and when you lose, you're forced to fall back. Because battles happen on the same maps, you will often see wrecks and craters left behind from earlier fights. Command Ops 2 puts you in the role of a real battlefield commander during World War II. Instead of turn-based gameplay or hex grids, battles unfold in pausable, real-time, across large operational maps. You can issue orders to high-level units and let subordinate commanders handle the details, creating a command experience that feels closer to planning real military operations. Command Modern Air or Naval Operations is often considered one of the deepest modern military simulators ever made. Instead of direct combat control, you're managing entire air and naval operations, coordinating aircraft, ships, submarines, and long-range missile systems. It's a game built around planning, information, and real military technology, which makes every mission feels more like commanding a real operation than playing a typical strategy game. Strategic Command American Civil War takes the conflict to a large strategic level, where you manage armies, resources, and long-term decisions across the entire war. It follows a classic hex and turn war game style that feels very much like a digital board game. If you enjoy planning campaigns, exploring historical events, and even trying some what-if scenarios, this one can be surprisingly engaging. Combat Mission Black Sea is a tactical wargame that focuses heavily on realism. Set in a modern conflict between NATO and Russian forces, it asks you to rely on real military tactics like positioning, line of sights, and coordinated fire and maneuver. Tanks, infantry, and support units all behave in believable ways, making every engagement tense, methodical, and highly rewarding for players who enjoy detailed battlefield simulations. Carrier Battles for Guadalcanal captures the tension of World War II carrier warfare surprisingly well. Presented in a classic hex-based style, the focus here is on decision-making rather than flashy visuals. You will spend much of your time searching for enemy carriers, planning airstrikes, and hoping to locate them before they locate you. That constant uncertainty creates some really memorable moments. Decisive campaign's Ardennes offensive focuses on the famous Battle of the Bulge, putting you in charge of planning and managing the German offensive or the Allied defense. The game strikes a nice balance between accessibility and depth, with a clean interface and a mix of large campaigns and smaller scenarios. It's easy to learn but still offers plenty of strategic decisions. Cauldrons of War Barbarossa focuses on the massive Eastern Front during Operation Barbarossa. The game keeps things at a high command level, where you guide entire fronts and army groups rather than worrying about individual units. Weekly turns move quickly, but the strategic decisions still carry weight, especially when historical events appear and force you to rethink your overall plans. Armored Brigade 2 builds on the original with the same deep tactical gameplay, now presented in full 3D. Battles still revolve around careful positioning, realistic line of sight, and combined arm tactics. The new camera angles make it easier to observe the battlefield up close, while effects like smoke, explosion, weather, and night operations add more immersion to every engagement. Scourge of War Remastered focuses on large-scale civil war battles with a strong emphasis on historical command and control. Orders move through proper chains of command, and coordinating brigades and divisions can feel surprisingly authentic. The battlefield is filled with period-accurate units, sounds, and locations, giving the game a very immersive historical atmosphere, especially for players who enjoy detailed military simulation. Crash Dive 2 offers a submarine warfare experience that's easy to pick up but still engaging. Rather than focusing on complex simulation systems, the game keeps things fast and accessible while still letting you plan stealthy torpedo attacks on convoys and bases. Its open patrol mode lets you freely roam the ocean, hunt targets, and create your own submarine missions. Rule the Waves 3 is a naval strategy game that often feels like managing a giant spreadsheet. You design warships, manage budgets, research technology, and guide your navy through decades of changing naval warfare. There are a lot of numbers and reports to deal with, but watching one of your custom ships enter battle after all that planning is surprisingly satisfying. Gary Grigsby's War in the East 2 is one of the most detailed Eastern Front simulations you can find. The game focuses heavily on logistics, weather, and large-scale army moments during the war between Germany and the Soviet Union. It can feel overwhelming at first, but once you understand the system, planning massive operations across the map become incredibly satisfying. Flashpoint Campaign's Cold War offers a different feel compared to traditional hex and counter wargames. Unit can engage enemies at realistic distances, and the WIGO system means both sides plan their orders before the action unfolds. The Cold War setting also brings asymmetric NATO and Warsaw Pact forces, encouraging players to think ahead and adapt their tactics as the battle develops. Total Conflict Resistance mixes large-scale strategy with direct battlefield control. You manage territory, resources, and armies on the campaign map, then jump into battles where you can personally command troops, vehicles, and air support. The game is still evolving in early access, but the combination of grand strategy and first-person combat already makes it a very interesting military sandbox. Silent Hunter 3 delivers a slow, tense submarine experience where patience is everything. Much of your time is spent listening through hydrophones, studying naval charts and trying to predict where an enemy convoy might appear. When you finally intercept one and launch a well-timed torpedo attack, the moment feels incredibly satisfying after such a long and careful hunt. Command Modern Operation feels less like a typical strategy game and more like a full modern warfare simulation. You're coordinating large air and naval operations, managing aircraft, ships, submarines, and missile systems across detailed scenarios. It's a complex system that rewards players who enjoy learning about real military platforms, sensors, and weapons rather than fast-paced action. Atlantic Fleet is a turn-based naval warfare game focused on World War II battles in the Atlantic. You control ships like destroyers, submarines, and battleships, taking turns to maneuver and fire guns or torpedoes. The gunnery system is especially interesting, since you adjust your aim after each volley to get closer to the target. Combined with detailed ship damage and changing weather conditions, battles can feel surprisingly tense. Cold Waters is a Cold War submarine command game inspired by the classic Red Storm Rising. Rather than managing every crew station, the focus is on commanding the submarine, tracking contacts, and deciding when to strike. Solar, torpedoes, and stealth all play important roles, and once enemy detect you, things can escalate quickly with torpedoes flying in every direction. Darkest Hour, a Heart of Iron Games, takes the classic World War II grand strategy formula and gives players plenty of freedom to rewrite history. You can follow historical path or create completely unexpected outcomes depending on your decision. Watching alternate timelines unfold, sometimes in absurd ways, is part of the charm and keeps each campaign feeling unpredictable. Age of History 2 is a turn-based grand strategy game where you guide a nation through centuries of history, from ancient times to the modern era. You manage diplomacy, economy, and military expansion while trying to grow your empire across a massive world map. The mechanics are fairly simple, but that one more turn feeling can easily keep you playing for hours. Sea Power Naval Combat in the Missile Age focuses on modern naval warfare, where detection, radar, and missile timing play a huge role in every engagement. You coordinate ships, submarines, and aircraft while tracking contacts across a large battlefield. Planning missile strikes, approaching from different angles, and managing incoming threats creates tense moments that feel very close to real naval combat scenarios.
Ракета выпущена. 7017.
Arma Reforger might look like a typical first-person shooter at first, but the gameplay is much closer to a tactical military simulation. Battles revolve around coordination, supply lines, transport, and capturing strategic position across a large map. Players often organize logistics, move equipment, and plan assaults with their team. Even simple things like driving to the front line can turn into chaotic moments. Because success depends heavily on teamwork and planning, the experience often feels surprisingly strategic. Europa Universalis IV is a massive grand strategy game where you guide a nation from 1444 all the way to 1821. There's no fixed objective. You're free to expand, dominate trade, build colonies, or simply survive among stronger powers. Wars happen in real time across province, but preparation matters more than direct control. Diplomacy, alliances, and trade networks often decide the fate of empires, and learning how all these systems connect is where the game becomes truly addictive. Hearts of Iron 4 is a massive World War II grand strategy game where you control an entire nation's military, industry, and political direction. Preparing for war involves building divisions, managing production lines, organizing air power, and coordinating naval fleets across the globe. The number of systems can feel overwhelming at first, but the complexity is also what keeps players experimenting with new strategy, alternate history paths, and different countries for hundreds or even thousands of hours. Thanks for watching. If the video helped, please consider leaving a like, share your opinion in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more strategy game content. See you next time.